Hello everyone, Berserkhead here, and welcome to my series called Rome 2 Mod Spotlight, in which I show you various mods for Rome 2 from the Steam Workshop. In today's episode, I'm going to be spotlighting Gods of the Arena, which is a unit compilation slash hero unit compilation with a gladiator theme. The mod consists of 4 parts, and I'm going to talk about all of them individually. However, they're not dependent on each other, so you can play the mod using just 1 or 2, and they all add different things, so it's up to you what you're going to use and whatnot. And before I begin, I just want to add that since this is a mod, these units are not usable in multiplayer, so you can only use them in campaign and custom battles. Also, if you're interested and you want to download the mod, or you just want additional information about it, all the different parts are linked in the description. So let's start off by the basic pack. So it adds a total number of 10 units for Rome and the Hellenic faction. There are all gladiator units, and there are all sorts of units. There are some spearmen, some swordsmen, some cavalry, some archers. And yeah, they're all gladiators. They're all recruitable in the campaign from the different arenas. That's pretty much all it adds. They're, interesting looking. So yeah, that's the simplest part of the mod. That's just the basis of the mod. But this is when it gets interesting. Then you have the hero pack, which adds a bunch of hero units. And what hero units are basically units consisting of just one soldier, which are extremely expensive, but they're also very effective. It's just one soldier, but they're very well trained, and they can just wreck like hundreds of standard troops. And I wouldn't personally use that in campaign, but there are some people that would, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But I would rather have a bunch of these units fight in a custom battle, and then I would make a cinematic out of that, because I think that it's really fun. And there are some units that are unique for some factions, and now there are actually more factions that can use these units aside from Rome and the Greek factions. There are some units for Macedon, the Iceni, Carthage, Parthia, and the Suebi. There are maybe a few more factions that I missed, but I really like these hero units. I just want to play custom battles and watch them fight. Believe me, it's really fun. And then you have the elite pack, which adds a bunch of elite units to the game, and similar to the previous pack, there are units that are usable by other factions aside from Rome and the Hellenic faction, although the majority of units are usable by these factions. But there are some units for the Suebi, the Iceni, one for the Seleucid Empire, 1 or 2 for Parthia. They're all very interesting looking. I really like the way they look. And their elite units, they have a very specific purpose. And once again, the theme is gladiators. As you can see, most of these units are very gladiator looking. But this is all about the looks. These units are not as much practical as they're just visually impressive. And last but by no means least is the fantasy pack, which adds 4 units from movies and series. You have Spartacus and Gannicus from the Spartacus series, you have Achilles from the movie Troy, and you have Hercules from the Hercules series. And they all look kind of similarly to the characters in these movies or series. And there is also King Leonidas, but it's added by the hero pack, because what's a mod without King Leonidas? And also found one more reference to the Spartacus series. There's the Beast of Carthage, which is once again added by the hero pack. But yeah, it's great. They don't necessarily look exactly the same as the characters from the Spartacus series or the movie or whatever, but it's still nice to have them for some additional fun. And let's talk a little bit about the disadvantages. There are just 2 minor things that I want to point out. The first thing is that the weapons feel kind of weird, especially with the hero units, not so much with the elite units, but the animations don't really work the way they should. For example, there are some gladiators or some hero units wielding axes, and they're trying to stab people with them, which feels kind of weird, but I've seen this happening with some vanilla units as well, so I guess it's not the modder's fault here. And I've also seen some models just clipping through the actual person holding the weapon, which felt kind of weird, but I don't know if this is actually fixable or it's just the game's fault, so I don't know if I can criticize the modder for these things. And I guess the only criticism that I have is that some of the hero units are way too tall. Like, we're talking 3.5 meters here, or 11 feet for the Americans out there, and it just breaks the immersion for me. I just feel like it's really unrealistic when they're like twice as tall as the normal unit. It's just a few of the hero units that this applies to, but I really dislike that. There are some people that like it. There are some mods that add these gigantic units, but I'm personally not a fan of that. But in general, I really like the mod. I wouldn't personally use it in campaign, but I wouldn't use any unit compilation in the campaign. I don't know why. why I'm just like that. There are some people that like that, but I would personally use it for some cinematics, and I think that this mod is really cool for that. For example, I'm probably gonna make a cinematic with a bunch of hero units fighting each other, because these are always very fun, and also have an idea of like making a gladiator battle, but it's probably gonna take some time because I'm gonna need some help with that. But yeah, in overall the units look great. They're not overpowered in my opinion, since they're very expensive, so if you want to use them in campaign, they can be very effective, but they're also very expensive, so they're by no means overpowered. But once again, I just love the way they look. They're very visually impressive. There has been a lot of effort put into them, so I like that. So yeah, that's gonna be everything for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm gonna see you next time. Goodbye.